Today I'm going to be changing the water pump on my 2004 C5 Corvette. First step is to raise the car up, put it on jack stands, make sure you do it safely. Next, you're going to get a bucket and remove the drain plug from the bottom passenger side of the radiator. Mine is kind of broken, so I have to use pliers to take it off. I'm going to let that drain go to the top side and start taking off the water pump and hose. First thing you want to do is take off your air intake. I have aftermarket air intake, so you may want to go watch a video on how to remove the stock one from the factory. I take off the throttle position sensor plug just so it's not in the way and I don't accidentally mess it up. You have to remove your pulley belt, so that you're going to need a 15mm socket. You put that over the front to release tension, remove the belt. Once you've gotten the belt off, you're gonna want to remove the pulley itself from the water pump, especially while the water pump's still in the car, so it's easier. There's two bolts on it, they're both 15mm. I pushed my upper radiator hose on too far last time I did this, so I couldn't even get it off, so I had to replace it. You want to take off your lower radiator hose from the thermostat housing, and then there's also two smaller hoses for your heater core. Be careful when removing the lower radiator hose, you will still have some coolant in there. A method to getting these hoses off, if they're on there like this, is just to twist back and forth. Just turn it and keep twisting if you can. Once you've gotten that hose off, go ahead and push it to the side. Next, you want to take off your thermostat housing. There are two 10mm bolts on that. The thermostat housing and thermostat for the 03 and earlier models, I believe, are a different style. Then on the 04, it's kind of like a LS2 style. This is a stock 197 thermostat. I'll show you guys a picture of the thermostat housings right here. See, as you can see, this thermostat can be removed from the housing, so you can keep reusing the housing. On the earlier ones, the thermostat is actually inside the house. You can't remove it, so you have to get the whole piece new if you want to replace your thermostat. There are 6 10mm bolts holding on the water pump. Go ahead and remove those. The other driver's side is kind of hard to get to. I'll show you. Anytime you hit your ratchet against the pulley for the water pump, it's going to sound like a bell rung, so it might get annoying. Maybe you can put a towel somewhere against it or something. I'm not sure. There are 2 right under the power steering reservoir, right above the idler, and then there's one kind of right behind it or on the other side of it. The wire to my mass airflow kept getting in the way, so if you want to remove that, go ahead and press that clip and pull out, and then there will be a tab going into the radiator shroud, so you can just pull up on that. There are 2 10mm bolts holding on your radiator shroud, the top part. You have to remove those in order to get to the clamp that's holding on the upper radiator hose. Once you've gotten those 6 mounting bolts out and all the hoses off, go ahead and make sure you don't have any wires or anything caught up. Remove the water pump from the passenger side. I don't think it's gonna come out from the driver's side. Once you've gotten the water pump out, you have to make sure you got the gaskets off the front of the engine. Once you get the gaskets off, make sure you clean the mating surfaces so that when you put your new gaskets on, they have a good clean surface to mate to. My thermostat, I put it on here, it decided to leak. It didn't seal right, so I had to take it off and use the old style thermostat that came with the water pump. This is an AutoZone Duralast water pump, so it's kind of hard to film and put the water pump on, so I couldn't film it. Best way is to put the bolts through the holes and then put your gaskets on that and line your holes up. Here's the torque specs for those bolts. Once you've got your water pump on, you want to put your hoses back on. So you're going to do small heater hose, larger heater hose, lower radiator hose onto the thermostat housing. Once you've got those hoses and clamps on, go ahead and put back on your belt pulley tensioner. Tighten that up. I've had this car for about 4 or 5 years. I never changed the belt, so I went ahead and did it. That's the part number. Best way to put the belt back on is to leave it off the tensioner. Make sure it goes under the water pump pulley, around the alternator pulley, under the power steering pump pulley, above the idler, and then back under the crank. Make sure you put every wire that you took off, so your mass airflow and your throttle position sensors, you want to put those back now. I forgot to film the upper radiator hose. It comes a few inches too long sometimes. I don't know why. So I had to make that fit somehow. Once you're done, don't forget to close your drain valve and fill back up with Dexcool. Now you can put your air intake back on. I do have a VARAM air ram intake. If you guys want me to make a video on how to install that, I can go ahead and do that. Also, my security light is on because there's a problem with that. I do have the resistor. I'm going to install that and make a video on how to do that. My gas gauge doesn't work. The check engine light's on because of the O2 sensor. So there's going to be more videos coming. Thank you guys for watching.